Jiro here with Umbra Games, bringing a review of Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on PlayStation 4. This Definitive Edition Tomb Raider, released in January 2014, is essentially an HD enhanced version of the Tomb Raider released by Crystal Dynamics and published by Square Enix in March of 2013. It is more than just a texture upgrade, however, as they've noticeably changed some of the physics engines on Lara's character model at least, so that you can see arrows bouncing separately in her quiver and increased dirt and cuts on her skin and things like that. So this Tomb Raider that they deem need no subtitle, making it easily confused with 1996 Tomb Raider, the original entry in the series, is another reboot of the beginnings of Lara Croft. Lara has set sail with a documentary maker and his crew as they seek out the lost kingdom of Yamatai. A storm rages and destroys their ship, the Endurance, and those that make it ashore begin a fight for their life against pirates, natives, and the elements themselves. I actually started playing Tomb Raider on Xbox 360 right around the time we moved into our house and was redoing the basement, and for some reason, at the time it didn't really grab me. So I started over recently with this Definitive Edition and was hooked. The controls are fairly solid, stealth is pretty fair, and it's the best kind of stealth, the unneeded kind. Similar to the Arkham games, Lara can stealth herself in for that first kill, get some bonus experience, keep trying to be stealthy and finish them one by one, or she can proceed to lay waste to her foes however you want, be it bow and arrow, assault rifle, shotgun, pistol, or pickaxe. There are a couple control design choices that I found a bit strange. First, in the single player mode, there isn't a crouch button. You can press the circle button to do a little scurry, which moves her faster and helps get out of harm's way, and if you get behind waist-high cover, Lara will automatically duck behind it, but no way to manually do it yourself. Secondly, when enemies are around, Lara will often pull out a weapon and put it in her hands, but a lot of time it's not the weapon you last used. It seemed to often default to the bow and arrow. I mean, I even had a silencer for the pistol, so it's not that the game was trying to help you automatically use stealth. Finally, you get a climbing axe, and you can use it on rough, rocky areas. The consistency of when you need to actively press the square button to grip it was kind of off-putting sometimes. For example, if you slid from a rope to the wall, you wouldn't need to push it. If you jump from one section of the wall to another, you do. I'm also not a big fan of the visual cues for the QTE button presses, especially in the dodge and stab. The button you're going to have to press isn't displayed until the outer circle reaches the inner, as if it were hiding what button you'd have to press, but then it was always triangle. It just was kind of confusing. The timing of it also seemed a bit off as I hit it early a lot, but I would also have success if it visually looked late to me, but somehow I still nailed it. Overall, it's a really minor issue. So my biggest frustration with Tomb Raider is I actually kind of missed the original formula from the 1996 original. Granted, the earliest game had its frustrations and would obviously need an update, but this Tomb Raider game seems like it's following in the footsteps of Uncharted, with its big handheld set pieces and long cutscenes. I want to raid some tombs, and I want to solve puzzles and kill ancient things while I do it. Now, there is a supernatural element to this Tomb Raider and some wolves, but 95% of the time you're fighting other human beings. There are also hidden tombs spread across the island, but they're usually a quick stop with one puzzle and then you're done. And they use the word tomb loosely. It's not quite the nonsensical Tomb Raider 3 cruise ship style where you have to flip a switch in one end to open a door in the other, but it's also not a tomb. Maybe secret areas would have been a better label. I do love the open worldness of this though, and being able to fast travel between camps at will. If Crystal Dynamics would work on their scale just a little bit, I'm not saying the extreme of Skyrim or Fallout, but something more than just a corridor connecting to an open area and onto the next, they could really do something here with this series. I was also very impressed by the voice acting in the game, even when I found out it was Camilla Luddington, most famous for her ongoing role on Grey's Anatomy, not my favorite show. They made a believable character that you want to go on adventures with, and not just because of her polygonal structure. She does go from her dramatic first, "what have I done?" kill to be able to dispatch people without a thought, but the violent way she gets treated when she's nearby or within their clutches, I think it does make sense from a character progression standpoint. And of course, as tons of games tend to do these days, there are some role-playing elements to this installment. Each kill, be it human or beast Lara makes, she gains experience which she can use to unlock abilities from the skill tree. In addition, you can also salvage various things and creatures from the island to get bolts to make weapon upgrades. You also have to find parts for the weapons to take them to the next level and open up even more. I think the system worked great because it pushed you to make more headshots for that bonus experience, and also the salvage made you go out of your way to find crates and kind of give all those collectibles a reason to exist. And speaking of collectibles, there are relics, documents, and GPS caches in each area. You can also find a treasure map or are awarded with one when you clear one of the area's secret tombs that will show you the location of the remaining collectibles on that map. While most give at least a small bit of experience, the documents fill in pieces of the story. as we get more insight into the crew members, the history of the island, and also the main villain. Now, I know it'd be a rip-off of modern common audio logs, but I do really wish the author's reading of the documents kept going after you close the document screen. Instead, I'd often just read the document and shut it before the reader was done. Relics can be examined, and Lara will often give a 1 or 2 sentence explanation on what she thinks they are, and a couple times discovers that they're fakes, which is pretty fun. The GPS caches were the most plentiful, however seemingly worthless and just thrown in for filler. They only awarded 5 experience per find, and give 1,000 salvage bolts when you find every single one from every area, and they were often the most tedious to chase down. There are also challenges on each map that include finding 10 mushrooms, or burning 5 flags, or burning 5 effigies, or burning hay in bags, or... Wait a second. Lara is a pyromaniac. For a budding archaeologist to go around and burn so many things, does this seem a little bit out of character to anyone else? Flags, totems, all these things are here to be destroyed, just for a little bit of experience. The survival instinct feature can be triggered by the L1 button, and will turn the world black and white while highlighting things you might want to pay attention to, including collectibles, as well as your path forward. You can upgrade this to mark collectibles on your map too if you're in the area before you find the treasure map. Apparently the multiplayer is already dead, probably due to 2015's Rise of the Tomb Raider, the direct sequel to this reboot. I tried to start a game and find a match, and a person or two would join and see a couple level 1 players and then quit, so after about 10 minutes of waiting, I abandoned it and just went up to finish 100% of the collectibles. Overall, this game was really fun to go through. I'm eager to see the changes and advancements they've made to the sequel, Rise of the Tomb Raider, because Crystal Dynamics does have a good thing going on here. This game almost has the feel of something like a Metroid or Zelda, where you have to get new abilities and items in order to progress to new areas of the island. And most of them actually make sense. I didn't have to find a single key card to open up a 3-foot gate that was easily jumped over. Given these mechanics, Tomb Raider falls into my 3D adventure genre, landing at an 81 out of 100. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching.